In a small, peaceful village, there lived a young girl named Ada. She was just 15 years old, but everyone knew her as the girl with the good heart. Ada did not come from a rich home, but she was always cheerful. She helped her parents on the farm, fetched water every morning, and still found time to help others. She greeted everyone with a smile, even those who did not like her. Some villagers would say, "That Ada girl is always smiling. Doesn't she have problems like the rest of us?" But Ada did not care. She believed that being kind made the world better, even if just a little. One hot morning, the sun was already high before Ada left the house. She carried her clay pot, tied her wrapper properly, and headed to the river. The path was dusty, and the road long, but Ada walked fast, whistling a song as she went. She passed by old trees, large rocks, and tiny birds that chirped in the bushes. Everything seemed normal, but that day, something special was going to happen. Something that would change Ada's life forever. The road to the river was not an easy one. It was full of stones and little hills, and sometimes wild goats crossed the path. But Ada didn't mind. She had been using this road since she was a small child, so her feet knew every corner and bend. As she walked, she greeted other girls coming from the river with heavy pots on their heads. Some smiled back. Others were too tired to talk. The sun was getting hotter, and the dust from the road rose into the air with every step. But Ada kept walking, her pot balanced carefully on her hip. She wasn't in a hurry. She liked the peace of the morning and the sound of birds singing in the trees. Sometimes, she talked to herself or sang softly. After about 20 minutes, Ada reached the river. It flowed gently, the water clear and cool. Big trees stood by the riverbank, their leaves dancing in the breeze. Birds flew above, and butterflies rested on flowers nearby. Ada knelt by the river and filled her pot slowly. As she stood up, she heard a soft voice behind her. It was weak but kind. "My daughter, please help me," the voice said. Ada turned around quickly. What she saw next would change her life forever. Ada looked closely and saw a very old woman standing near a tree. Her back was slightly bent, her clothes were torn, and she leaned on a long walking stick. She looked tired. Very tired. Her wrapper was dirty, her hair was gray, and her feet were dusty from the long walk. "My daughter," the old woman said again, "please, help me carry my water. My hands are weak, and the sun is too hot." She held a small calabash pot, already filled with water. It looked heavy in her shaky hands. Other girls had passed by earlier, but none of them had stopped. They had just looked at her and walked away. Ada's heart melted. Without saying a word, she dropped her own water pot gently, walked over, and collected the calabash from the old woman. "Don't worry, Mama," she said with a smile. "I will carry it for you. Where is your house?" The old woman looked at Ada closely, as if she was seeing something special. Then she pointed up the narrow footpath that led into the forest. "It is not too far, my child. Just a little walk." Ada nodded. "Let us go, Mama. I will follow you." As they began walking, the forest around them became quiet, like it was listening. Birds stopped singing. Even the breeze slowed down. But Ada did not notice. She was just happy to help. Ada balanced the old woman's calabash on her head, and the two of them began walking slowly into the forest path. The old woman moved slowly, dragging her feet through the soft brown soil. Ada didn't complain. She adjusted her steps to match the woman's pace. "Mama, why did you come all the way to the river alone?" Ada asked gently. The old woman gave a small sigh. "I'll have no one. My children are gone, and the people in the village don't care about me anymore. When I'm hungry, I eat herbs. When I'm tired, I sleep on the ground. But I still thank God." Ada felt a sharp pain in her chest as she listened. She could not believe that someone so old and weak was suffering like this. "That is not right, Mama. You should be resting. People should be helping you." The old woman smiled sadly. "Not everyone has a good heart like you, my child." They kept walking. The forest grew thicker, and the sounds of the village faded. The road was rough and full of roots, but Ada kept going. The water in the calabash shook with every step, but she held it firmly. Soon, they reached a small, broken hut hidden between two large trees. It looked like it hadn't been touched in years. The roof was patched with dry palm leaves, and the door hung loosely on one hinge. A wooden stool sat outside, half buried in sand. This is where I stay, the old woman said, breathing heavily. Just put the water down beside the stool. Ada placed the calabash gently on the ground. Mama, are you sure you live here? This place is not safe. The old woman chuckled. It is all I have. But don't worry, I'm fine. Ada shook her head. You're not fine. You are just trying to be strong. Mama, let me sweep the front for you. She picked up a dry palm frond and began sweeping the sandy ground. The old woman watched her quietly for a while. Then she said something unexpected. My daughter. People pass by me every day. Some look at me and turn their faces. Some even insult me. But today, you helped me without asking for anything. You did it from your heart. Ada smiled shyly. It is nothing, Mama. You are like my grandmother. I just could not leave you like that. The old woman stood up slowly and raised her hands to the sky. Then you shall not go home empty-handed. Ada was confused. Mama. The woman closed her eyes and began to whisper strange words, words Ada didn't understand. A soft wind blew, even though the trees around them were still. Suddenly, something shiny dropped from the sky, right at Ada's feet. It was gold, a small golden coin, brighter than anything she had ever seen. Ada's mouth opened wide. Mama. What is this? The old woman opened her eyes slowly. That is just the beginning, my child. Your kindness has opened a door. From now on, gold shall follow you. Ada stared at the gold in shock. But I didn't do anything special. You did more than enough, the woman said. You gave without expecting. You loved without asking. And now, you shall be rewarded. The trees around them seemed to shimmer, and the sun above peeked through the clouds like a golden spotlight. Ada picked up the gold carefully. It felt warm in her hand. Thank you, Mama, she whispered. The old woman touched Ada's forehead gently. Go home, my child. But remember. Stay humble. Use your gift to help others, just like you helped me. Ada nodded. Her heart was full, and her eyes were shining. She turned and began the long walk home, not knowing that her life had just changed forever. As Ada walked back through the forest path, she kept glancing at the shiny gold coin in her hand. It felt almost like a dream. Too strange to be real. She turned it over and over, watching how the sunlight danced on its surface. It was the most beautiful thing she had ever held. But even with all the excitement in her heart, Ada did not forget what the old woman said, stay humble. She took a deep breath and said to herself, I did not help her because I wanted anything. I just wanted to do what is right. By the time Ada returned to the river to pick up her own water pot, the sun was already high in the sky. The other girls had all gone home. The place was quiet again, except for the birds and the gentle sound of water. Ada filled her pot again and placed the gold carefully into the folds of her wrapper. As she balanced the pot on her head, she smiled. Not because of the gold, but because she had made someone happy that morning. That was her real reward. When she reached home, her mother saw her and said, Ada, you are just coming back. What happened? I met an old woman who needed help. I took her water to her house, Ada replied calmly. Her mother did not get angry. She just looked at her daughter and said, that is good. You did well. Later that evening, when everyone had eaten and gone to bed, Ada brought out the gold coin. She showed it to her mother in secret. Her mother's eyes widened. Where did you get this? Ada told her everything. The old woman, the broken hut, the strange blessing. Her mother sat quietly for a long time. My daughter, she said at last, you have received a gift from heaven. But remember, gold can make people forget who they are. Promise me you will not change. I promise, Mama, Ada whispered. I'll stay the same. The next morning, something even more surprising happened. As Ada swept the compound, another gold coin fell from the corner of the roof. Then one came from under the bench. Then another from inside the cooking hut. Ada and her mother stared in shock. The gold was following her, just as the old woman said. By the third day, Ada's small clay bowl was full of gold coins. It did not fall from the sky like rain, and it did not appear all at once. But every time Ada helped someone, every time she showed kindness, just as she always had, a coin would show up in the most unexpected place. Once, she helped an old man carry his firewood, and later, she found a coin inside the folded sleeve of her dress. Another day, she gave her leftover yam porridge to a hungry boy by the roadside. That evening, she found a coin under her pillow. It was happening again and again. Ada was amazed. She started to believe it was just the old woman's blessing. It was a reward from something higher. Maybe even from God himself. But Ada did not change. She did not brag, and she did not start wearing fine clothes. She still fetched water. She still helped her mother in the garden. She still greeted everyone with a smile. Only her mother knew the full truth. The two of them agreed to hide the gold safely in a small clay pot and bury it under a tree behind their hut. "We will use it slowly," her mother said. "Not all at once. We don't want the village to know." But even though they were careful, some people started to notice that things were different. Ada's clothes, though still simple, were now always neat and fresh. Her mother bought more food than usual from the market. Their compound looked cleaner, brighter, and full of peace. The neighbors began to whisper. One evening, a curious woman came to visit. She was known for gossiping. "My sister," she said to Ada's mother, "Elle noticed your roof no longer leaks. And your kitchen pot has meat inside these days. Tell me, what's your secret?" Ada's mother smiled calmly. "God has been good to us," she said. And that was the truth. But the whispers grew louder. Some said Ada had met a rich man. Some claimed she had found a secret treasure in the bush. Others whispered that she had joined a cult. None of them guessed the truth. That a simple act of kindness had opened the door to something magical. Ada did not let the gossip trouble her. She kept her head down and continued helping others. She believed that real blessings were not just in gold but in the joy of giving. And each time she did a good deed, another gold coin found its way to her. The blessing was alive. As days turned into weeks, Ada's name began to spread across the village. Not for the gold, but for her goodness. People said that Ada is a special girl, always helping others. But not everyone was happy. One woman named Mama Ifoma, who lived just 3 huts away, was known for her sharp tongue and bitter heart. She did not like to see others rise, especially not a girl from a poor family. She started to watch Ada closely. Whenever Ada passed with her water pot, Mama Ifoma would squint her eyes and whisper to anyone nearby. "She is pretending to be humble," she would say. "But I know she's hiding something." One morning, Mama Ifoma saw Ada giving groundnuts to a group of hungry children. As soon as Ada walked away, she picked up one of the groundnut shells and muttered, "Let me see if gold will fall from the sky for me too." But nothing happened. Another day, Mama Ifoma sent her daughter, Anam, to follow Ada quietly. "Watch where she goes. Watch where she hides her gold." Anam tried, but Ada was too wise. She walked through the village like every other girl, fetching water, greeting elders, playing with little children. There was nothing strange about her. But Mama Ifoma did not give up. "I know something is not normal," she told her friends. "That girl is using juju." Soon, the gossip turned into hate. A few women stopped allowing their children to play with Ada. Some men shook their heads when she passed, as if they were ashamed of her. Ada noticed it. She felt it in their silence. But she didn't stop helping. One day, an old blind man in the village needed help crossing the market road. No one moved. No one offered. But Ada walked up and gently took his hand. She helped him cross slowly, speaking kindly to him all the way. And later that night, when she went to sleep, she found 3 golden coins beneath her mat. The blessing had not stopped. And Ada knew, as long as her heart remained clean, no gossip, no jealousy, and no hate could block what had already been given to her. But in the corner of the village, Mama Ifoma was planning something dangerous. Mama Ifoma could no longer sleep in peace. She was boiling with jealousy. Every time she saw Ada smiling, she clenched her fists. Every time she heard someone praise Ada, her heart burned with anger. "This girl is stealing the attention of the whole village," she muttered. "And I will not let her shine while my own daughter sits in the shadow." So one evening, when the sky turned red with sunset and the birds were returning to their nests, Mama Ifoma called a secret meeting with 2 other women known for gossip and envy, Ayamuka and Mama Zainab. They sat in Mama Ifoma's backyard, behind her kitchen where no one could hear them. "This Ada girl has some kind of charm," Mama Ifoma said in a low voice. "We need to find out how she's getting all this gold." Mama Zainab frowned. "Are you saying she's doing rituals?" "She must be." Mama Ifoma snapped. What kind of blessing gives gold just like that?" "But she helps people," Ayamuka whispered. "Maybe it is from God." Mama Ifoma slammed her palm on the ground. Don't be fooled. People like us have been praying and fasting for years. Did gold fall on our heads? Number. Something is not right. Then she leaned in and lowered her voice even more. We will go to that woman in the forest. The one they call Mama Nwanyi Muo. The spirit woman. She will tell the truth. The other women gasped. Everyone in the village feared Mama Nwanyi Muo. She was old, mysterious, and some believed she could speak with spirits. Are you sure? Mama Zainab asked. People say her eyes can see your secrets. That is what we need, Mama Ifoma replied. If Ada is using charm, we will find it. And we will stop her. The women agreed. And the next night, under the full moon, they dressed in dark wrappers and tied their heads with black cloth. They carried small calabashes and whispered prayers to protect themselves from forest spirits. They walked silently into the bush, heading toward the forbidden part of the forest where the spirit woman lived. Their plan was dangerous, but their hearts were full of envy, and envy is a fire that burns even the wisest soul. And while they moved deeper into the forest, Ada was at home, sleeping peacefully, completely unaware that jealous eyes were now planning her fall. Mama Ifoma, Mama Zainab, and Ayamuka moved quietly through the dark forest. The night was heavy. No wind, no sound. Only the crunch of dry leaves under their feet and the loud beating of their own hearts. They held their calabashes tight, filled with bitter herbs and salt for protection. No one talked. Even the bravest among them began to shake as they approached the part of the forest no one dared enter during the day. Let alone at night. Finally, they reached a small hut covered in black palm fronds and strange hanging charms made from feathers, bones, and old cloth. A smoky fire burned in front of the hut, and a short stool sat beside it. Suddenly, a deep voice spoke from inside. I have been expecting you. The women jumped. The curtain hanging over the door moved, and out came Mama Nwanyi Muo, the spirit woman. Her skin was wrinkled like dry bark, and her white eyes looked as if they could see right into the soul. She walked slowly, holding a long staff decorated with shells and red cloth. Mama Ifoma tried to speak, but her mouth felt dry. Mama Nwanyi Muo looked at her and said, Jealousy has brought you here. The three women fell to their knees. We want to know the secret behind Ada's sudden fortune, Mama Ifoma finally said. She is hiding something. We just want the truth. The spirit woman said nothing for a long time. She stared at the fire, then pointed her staff at them. You want to know the truth? She asked slowly. Yes. They all replied. Then I will show you. She tossed a handful of white powder into the fire. The flames jumped and turned blue. A strong wind blew around them even though the trees did not move. Inside the fire, they saw a vision: Ada helping the old woman by the riverside. Ada carrying her water pot through the village. Ada sharing food with hungry children. Ada helping the blind man cross the road. Then gold coins appeared, one by one, after each good deed. The spirit woman turned to them. She was not cursed. She was blessed. Not by spirits, not by charm. But by a heart full of kindness. Her hands give, and the world gives back to her. The women stared in silence. She received what you never will, the spirit woman continued, because your hearts are full of envy. Instead of learning from her, you plan to destroy her. Mama Ifoma's lips trembled. So there is no charm. The old woman laughed. The charm is her goodness. Then her face turned hard. If you touch her, the same gold you are chasing will bury you. Go home, and learn to clean your hearts before it's too late. With that, she stood up and walked back into the hut. The fire went out. The women were left in darkness, trembling. They stood and hurried back through the forest, afraid and ashamed. But as they left, Mama Ifoma clenched her jaw. She is lucky today, she muttered. But this story is not over. The following days were filled with strange silence. Mama Ifoma and her friends, Mama Zainab and Ayamuka, returned to their homes, but something had changed in the air. They were no longer talking about Ada with the same bitterness. However, a dark seed had been planted in their hearts. They couldn't stop thinking about the gold, about what they had seen. Though they told themselves they would leave Ada alone, the jealousy never left them. It simmered quietly in the back of their minds. Every time Ada passed by, they saw her kindness, but also the wealth she was quietly gathering. It made their hearts ache. Mama Ifoma could not forget what Mama Nwanyi Muo had said. The charm is her goodness. What did that mean? Was Ada truly blessed by a higher power? Or was there something more to her good deeds than met the eye? That night, Mama Ifoma lay awake in her bed, staring at the ceiling. She couldn't sleep. The jealousy gnawed at her like a hungry animal. In the silence of her room, a thought came to her. What if Ada's gold could be mine? She quickly sat up, her mind racing with ideas. She had heard stories of people who used good deeds to manipulate the world and gain wealth. Maybe Ada was not as innocent as she seemed. Maybe she was tricking everyone, playing on their emotions to hide her real secret. Mama Ifoma decided she couldn't leave things as they were. If Ada was indeed using tricks to gain her gold, Mama Ifoma would expose her. And if Ada had a real blessing, well, maybe she would take some of that gold for herself. The next morning, she gathered Mama Zainab and Ayamuka. We are going to test Ada, she told them. I will make sure she gives us the truth. I will not allow her to make fools of us. But how? Ayamuka asked, afraid. Leave that to me, Mama Ifoma said with a sly smile. We will use the very thing she values most, her kindness. The women gathered quietly at Mama Ifoma's house, planning their next move. They needed to trick Ada into revealing her secret, into showing them where the gold came from. They knew she would turn them away. Because Ada could never say no to helping someone in need. That evening, they set the trap. They began spreading rumors in the village that Ada's mother was seriously ill. They told everyone that she had fallen down and couldn't move. They made it seem urgent, desperate. Soon enough, Ada came rushing to Mama Ifoma's hut, worried for her mother. When she arrived, Mama Ifoma looked at her with a sad face and said, "Thank you for coming, Ada. Your mother needs help. But there is something else." Ada frowned, confused. What do you mean? Mama Ifoma sat her down. You see, Ada, we've heard many good things about you. Your kindness has touched the hearts of many. But there is something strange happening. People are whispering that you have been blessed by the spirits. You have been given gold. We need to know if it's true. Ada's heart sank. She did not know what to say. Her mother was sick. How could she possibly explain about the gold now? Mama Ifoma pressed on. Show us, Ada. If you are so blessed, let us see the magic. Share your wealth with us. The other women stood nearby, watching with hidden smiles. Ada felt a cold sweat on her brow. She did not want to say anything, but she could not just walk away from this. She had to protect her family. She had to protect the old woman's blessing. I did not ask for any of this, Ada said softly. It was not magic. It was simply the kindness I was taught to give. But Mama Ifoma was not satisfied. Enough of your stories, Ada. We are your elders. You will show us where the gold is hidden. Ada felt trapped. She did not want to reveal the truth, but Mama Ifoma's tone was sharp and threatening. I don't have any gold to show, Ada said, her voice trembling. I only have what I earned by helping others. Mama Ifoma sneered, so you say. But if you don't prove it, no one will believe you. And that's when Ada realized. They were not asking for her help. They were trying to take what was hers. Her heart grew heavy as she stood up and walked slowly to the door. She looked back one last time at Mama Ifoma and the others. You never understand, she whispered. True wealth comes from the heart. Ada left Mama Ifoma's hut with a heavy heart. The sun was setting, casting long shadows on the ground. Her feet dragged as she walked, and the weight of what had just happened pressed down on her. She had never expected her kindness to bring so much trouble. As she passed by the old riverbank, she saw a familiar face. Chijoke, the young man who had helped her fetch water a few times. He waved at her, but Ada didn't feel like smiling. She forced a smile and waved back, but the sadness in her eyes didn't escape him. Are you alright? Chijoke asked, his voice filled with concern. I'm fine, Ada replied softly, her voice heavy. Just a little tired. He didn't believe her, but he did not press. Instead, he walked beside her as they continued down the village path. It was silent for a while, the only sound the soft rustling of the leaves and the distant call of birds. I heard rumors, Chijoke said finally. They say you've been hiding gold. Is that true? Ada stopped in her tracks, her heart skipping a beat. It was not just Mama Ifoma and her friends who were gossiping. Now the whole village had started whispering. They were all looking at her as if she were hiding something. Who told you that? Ada asked, her voice a little shaky. People talk, Chijoke said, shrugging. I did not believe it, though. You have always been kind. But You are not hiding anything, are you? Ada took a deep breath. She felt like everything she had worked for, every good deed, every kind gesture was being turned into something dark. She wanted to tell Chijioke the truth. She wanted to explain that the gold was a gift, a blessing for her kindness, and nothing more. But the words felt stuck in her throat. I'm not hiding anything, Ada finally said, her voice firm, though her eyes showed the pain she felt. It is just. People don't understand. They think kindness comes with something more, but it does not. Chijioke nodded, but there was doubt in his eyes. I believe you, Ada. But you need to be careful. Mama Ifoma. She's not someone you can trust. I know her. Ada looked at him, surprised. You know her? Yes, Chijioke said, his face darkening. She's always been like this. Envious. She tries to take whatever others have, even if it means lying or manipulating. Ada felt a chill run down her spine. She had already sensed that Mama Ifoma wasn't the kind of person who could be trusted, but hearing it from Chijioke made it feel even more real. She and the others. They came to see me today, Ada said quietly. They wanted me to prove the gold. But I don't want to show them anything. I don't want to be caught in their lies. Chijioke looked around, as if making sure no one else was listening. You need to be careful, Ada. Mama Ifoma might try to hurt you. She's dangerous when she feels threatened. Ada's heart skipped a beat. The last thing she wanted was for things to escalate into violence. She didn't want to fight. She didn't want to hurt anyone. But she knew deep down that Mama Ifoma would not stop until she got what she wanted. The conversation was interrupted by the loud sound of footsteps approaching. Chijioke turned to look, his face suddenly tense. Ada looked over her shoulder and saw Mama Ifoma walking toward them, her face twisted into a smug grin. What are you two talking about? Mama Ifoma's voice was sharp and filled with mock sweetness. I hope you are not spreading any more lies, Ada. You would not want to upset the good people of this village, would you? Ada stood tall, trying to keep her voice steady. I have not said anything to anyone. Mama Ifoma's smile faded. I hope not. But you never know what people might say when you're not careful. After all, gold has a way of making people talk. With that, she turned and walked away, her laughter echoing behind her. Ada felt a sense of dread settle over her. She had never wanted to cause trouble, but now it seemed as if her life was becoming a game she did not want to play. But the more Mama Ifoma tried to push her, the more Ada realized that her kindness had become her biggest weapon. And maybe, just maybe, it would be the key to stopping the darkness creeping into her life. The next few days were filled with tension. Mama Ifoma, still furious and desperate to expose Ada, plotted her next move. She could not believe that Ada had refused to reveal the secret behind her gold. Her jealousy had grown into something darker, something more dangerous. The village was not just talking anymore, they were beginning to believe that Ada had magic, that she was hiding something from them. And that was something Mama Ifoma could not allow. Mama Ifoma met with Mama Zainab and Ayamuka in secret, deep inside her hut, away from the curious eyes of the villagers. She is too strong, Mama Ifoma said, her voice filled with venom. We need to break her. We need to make her show us the truth. She thinks kindness will protect her, but kindness won't stop her from losing everything. Mama Zainab nodded, her face grim. But how do we do it? She's too innocent. She's too pure. I don't care about her innocence, Mama Ifoma snapped. I care about the gold. We can't let her keep it. We need a plan, Ayamuka said slowly, tapping her fingers against the table. Something that will make her open up. Mama Ifoma's eyes gleamed. I have the perfect plan. It's time to use her own heart against her. She leaned forward, her voice a whisper. We will make her think someone she cares about is in danger. She will have no choice but to help. And when she does, we will have her exactly where we want her. The two women stared at her, their faces twisting into malicious smiles. Ada felt the weight of the villagers, eyes on her, pressing down like 1,000 stones. The realization hit her like a punch in the stomach. They did not believe her. They thought she was hiding something. Something that they could take for themselves. And no matter how much she tried to explain, they would not listen. Mama Ifoma stepped closer, her eyes gleaming with triumph. You have been hiding it all this time, Ada. You have tricked us all with your sweet smile and kind words, but now, it's time to face the truth. You must tell us everything. Ada's heart raced. She could feel the panic rising inside her. Her mind spun as she searched for a way out. She could run. She could flee to the forest or the river, but they would come after her. There was no escaping this. I don't have anything to hide. Ada shouted, her voice trembling. The gold. It's just a gift. I didn't ask for it. I did not seek it. It was given to me, and all I did was help an old woman. Please, believe me. I don't know what else to say. Mama Ifoma's face twisted into a sneer. You think we are fools, Ada. You think we'll just accept your lies. No. You will show us. You will reveal the gold. But Ada was done. Done with the lies, done with the manipulations, and done with feeling like she had to explain herself to people who refused to understand her. Her whole life, she had given her heart to others, and yet now, it felt like they were using her goodness to tear her apart. Tears streamed down Ada's face as she turned toward the crowd. I don't owe anyone an explanation, she whispered, her voice barely audible. I helped because I wanted to. That's all. If you can't accept that, then I'm sorry. Just as Mama Ifoma opened her mouth to speak, Ada spun on her heel and started walking away, her steps fast and firm. The crowd parted, watching in stunned silence. They had expected her to beg, to plead for mercy. But Ada did not. She walked with the strength that only someone who had endured injustice could possess. Mama Ifoma stood frozen, her mouth hanging open in shock. She had expected Ada to break, to give in. But the girl was walking away, leaving them all behind. But Mama Ifoma was not about to let her go. She stepped forward, grabbing Ada's arm with a force that made Ada stumble. You are not getting away that easily, Mama Ifoma spat, her grip tightening. If you will not tell us what we want, then we'll make you. Ada winced in pain, but she refused to give up. With one swift motion, she yanked her arm free from Mama Ifoma's grasp. Let go of me. I won't let you hurt me anymore. I have done nothing wrong. Mama Ifoma stepped back, a dark anger flashing in her eyes. You will regret this, Ada. We'll make sure of it. As the crowd began to murmur, Ada turned and ran toward her home. She did not care anymore. She did not care about the gold. She did not care about Mama Ifoma's jealousy. All she wanted now was peace. To be left alone. But she was not going to get that peace. Not yet. Ada stood frozen in her small room, staring at the door. The knock came again, louder this time, followed by the sound of a voice calling her name. Ada. It is me, Chijoke. Her heart skipped a beat. Chijoke. She had not seen him since the trap Mama Ifoma had set for her. He had been the one they had used to draw her into their lies, and now he was standing outside her door. Ada's chest tightened. She was not sure whether she was ready to face him yet. She took a deep breath, wiped the tears from her eyes, and stood up. Slowly, she walked to the door and opened it. Chijoke stood there, his face concerned but also filled with a sense of guilt. His clothes were dusty, and his hands trembled slightly as he held them in front of him. I did not know they would do this to you, he said softly. I never wanted to be part of their plan, Ada. I never wanted to hurt you. Ada stared at him, her heart still racing. She wanted to be angry with him, but she could not. He seemed truly sorry, and part of her understood that he had been caught up in Mama Ifoma's manipulation, just like the rest of the village. You did not have to come, Ada said quietly. You should have stayed away. I don't need any more lies. I know, Chijoke replied, looking down. But I could not just stand by and watch you suffer. I should have told you the truth sooner. I should have told you about Mama Ifoma's plans, but I was too afraid. Ada stepped aside, motioning for him to come in. You have here now. That is all that matters. Chijoke entered the room and looked around. You have been through so much, Ada. I know it must be hard, but you have to stay strong. Don't let them win. She nodded, though her heart still felt heavy. The weight of the lies, the gossip, and Mama Ifoma's cruelty was too much to bear. But what hurt the most was how the people she had trusted had turned against her. All because of the gold, all because they could not understand why she had been kind. I don't understand why they are doing this, Ada whispered, sitting down on the floor. I did not ask for the gold. I didn't ask for anything. I just wanted to help. I thought if I could help someone, just one person, maybe things would be different. Chijoke sat down beside her, his voice gentle. Sometimes, when you do good, people don't know how to handle it. They don't know what to think or feel, and they start looking for reasons to bring you down. But that is not your fault, Ada. You did not do anything wrong. I don't know how much longer I can do this, Ada said, her voice breaking. I don't know how much longer I can pretend like everything is fine. I don't know who I can trust anymore. Chijioke placed a hand on her shoulder, offering what little comfort he could. You can trust me, Ada. I'm not like the others. I'm here for you. For a moment, Ada felt a warmth spread through her chest. Maybe not everything was lost. Maybe she still had a chance to find peace. But there was one thing she needed to do before she could move on. She stood up suddenly, her eyes filled with determination. I cannot let Mama Ifoma win. I can't let her take my kindness and turn it into something dark, Ada said, her voice stronger now. I'm going to confront her. I'm going to stand up for myself. Chijioke stood with her. Are you sure? She's dangerous, Ada. She will not stop until she gets what she wants. I'm sure, Ada replied, her voice unwavering. I'm done hiding. I'm done running. It's time for her to understand that no one can take what's not theirs. I did not ask for the gold, but it is mine now. And I'm going to use it to protect what I have left. Chijioke hesitated but nodded. I will stand with you, Ada. You don't have to do this alone. Ada smiled faintly, grateful for his support. Thank you, Chijioke. I don't know what I cannot do without you. The two of them stood in the room, a silent understanding passing between them. Whatever came next, they would face it together. And for the first time in days, Ada felt a small spark of hope. The next morning, Ada set out with Chijioke by her side. She did not know what she would say to Mama Ifoma, but she was ready. She was ready to confront the woman who had tried to tear her life apart. She was ready to stand up for herself. As they approached Mama Ifoma's house, Ada's heart began to race again. But this time, she was not afraid. She was prepared. Chijioke gave her an encouraging nod as they stopped at the entrance. Ada took a deep breath, then knocked on the door. It was time for the truth to come out. The door to Mama Ifoma's house creaked open, revealing a dimly lit interior. Ada's heart beat fast as she stepped inside, with Chijioke right beside her. The walls of the house seemed to close in around them, and the weight of the situation was almost suffocating. Mama Ifoma was sitting in a chair near the fire, her back to the door, as if she was waiting for them. You have come, Mama Ifoma said, her voice colder than the wind outside. What is it you want now, Ada? More lies. Ada stood tall, her posture straight, her resolve firm. She was not the same girl who had been deceived and manipulated by fear. No, she was stronger now. The gold, the kindness, the pain. It had all brought her to this moment. I'm not here to lie, Ada replied, her voice steady. I'm here to put an end to this. To put an end to the lies and the hurt. I'm here to tell you the truth. Mama Ifoma slowly turned around, her eyes narrowing. The truth. Your truth. I have heard enough of your nonsense. You have fooled everyone with your so-called kindness, but I see through it. You think we just let you walk away with the gold. Ada did not flinch. She took a deep breath and stepped closer, her eyes locking with Mama Ifoma's. The gold isn't yours. It was given to me, and I don't owe you or anyone else an explanation. I helped the old woman because I wanted to. But I will not let you use my goodness as a weapon against me anymore. Mama Ifoma's face twisted into a sneer. You don't get it, do you? This village won't forgive you for your lies. You think you can just walk away, but you won't. I won't let you. Ada shook her head, her voice filled with quiet power. You have already lost, Mama Ifoma. You've let jealousy and greed blind you. You have hurt the people you once called neighbors. But I will not be part of it. I'm done with you. For a long moment, there was silence between them. The only sound was the crackling of the fire. Mama Ifoma's face darkened, her lips trembling with barely contained rage. You think you have won, Ada? She hissed, standing up and taking a step toward her. You think you are some kind of hero. You have see. You have regret this. You'll regret crossing me. But Ada didn't move. She stood there, calm and unwavering. I did not cross you. I'm just standing up for myself. For what is right. And that is something you can never take from me. Mama Ifoma's face twisted in fury as she lunged forward, but before she could reach Ada, Chijioke stepped between them, blocking her path. You have hurt no one today, Chijioke said firmly, his voice steady. We are done with this. Ada has done nothing wrong. She's helped people. She's given, and all you've done is take. It's time for you to face the truth, Mama Ifoma. Mama Ifoma froze, her eyes widening in disbelief. She looked from Chijioke to Ada, and for the first time, doubt flickered in her eyes. You. Mama Ifoma started to say, but her voice faltered. You cannot stop me. I already have. Ada said softly, her eyes meeting Mama Ifoma's. You done control me. You done control anyone. There was a long pause, and for a moment, it seemed as if the whole world was holding its breath. Then, slowly, Mama Ifoma took a step back, her shoulders sagging as if the fight had suddenly drained from her. I done need your pity, she spat, turning away from them. You will regret this. But Ada was not listening anymore. She turned to Chijioke, her eyes softening. It is over now. We can go back to the way things were. Chijioke smiled, his eyes full of pride. You were strong, Ada. I knew you could do it. Ada nodded, feeling a weight lift from her chest. It was not over yet, not completely. There would still be people in the village who didn't understand, who would whisper behind her back. But in this moment, Ada knew she had won the only battle that mattered. The one for her peace, her integrity, and her future. She turned and walked out of the house, with Chijioke by her side. As they walked back toward the village, the sun was beginning to set, casting a warm glow over the land. Ada felt lighter than she had in days. The gold was no longer the focus of her life. She had something far more valuable now: the truth, her strength, and the knowledge that kindness, when shared without expectation, was its own reward. And as the stars began to twinkle in the sky above, Ada knew that whatever came next, she would face it with the courage of someone who had learned to trust herself. As the days passed, the whispers in the village slowly died down. Ada's bravery in confronting Mama Ifoma had not only silenced the rumors, but it had also sparked a change in the hearts of those around her. While some villagers still struggled with jealousy and misunderstanding, many others began to see Ada for who she truly was. A kind and strong woman, not defined by the gold, but by her character. Ada had learned a lot through the trials she faced. She had learned that the true value of a person was not in what they had, but in what they gave to the world. And though the journey had been hard, she now knew that she was never truly alone. Her strength, her kindness, and her friends had always been enough. As for Mama Ifoma, the woman's bitterness faded with time, and she eventually left the village. Perhaps she would find peace somewhere else. Or perhaps she would never change. But Ada had no regrets. She had chosen to stand for what was right, and in doing so, she had found her own path. One afternoon, as Ada sat by the river, reflecting on all that had happened, she smiled to herself. The water shimmered in the sunlight, and the breeze carried the sound of birds singing in the distance. Life, Ada realized, was full of unexpected turns, but each twist had brought her closer to the person she was meant to be. Chijioke sat beside her, watching the river flow peacefully, and without a word, they both knew that the worst was behind them. The village, once filled with suspicion and fear, was now a place where Ada could walk freely. She had earned her peace. And with that, a new chapter of her life began. One filled with hope, kindness, and the promise of a future where her golden heart would continue to shine, not because of what it had been given, but because of what it could offer to others. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed Ada's journey, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more amazing stories like this. Leave a comment below and let me know what part of Ada's story touched you the most. See you in the next one. Bye.